I'm just amazed at the level of fraud and corruption just nowadays. It doesn't matter where, what country, who's doing it. Everybody's doing it. It really makes you wonder how much of the whole financial system is just fraud. It's just fake, phony. Stuff made up out of thin air, backed by stuff that doesn't exist. You know, assets that are on a piece of paper that never, ever existed. Here's one from China. China finds 15 billion US dollars worth of loans backed by fake gold trades. China's chief auditor discovered 94.4 billion yuan, or 15.2 billion US dollars, of loans backed by falsified gold transactions, adding to signs of possible fraud in commodities financing deals. 25 bullion processors in China, the biggest producer and consumer of gold, made a combined profit of more than 900 million yuan from the loans, according to a report of the National Audit Office's website. So once again, they made here's a company making God knows what kind of money, I mean incredible amounts of money, on falsified transactions that never occurred. That's the same thing. That's the same thing that our banks do. They give out these pieces of paper called futures contracts that say this is good for 5,000 ounces of silver, but you can bet with this device for 10% of that amount of money what it would cost you to buy 5,000 ounces of silver. So just give us 10% of that money, we'll come up with the rest of it on margin, and you can play the game. If silver goes up $1, if silver goes up $1, you've got 5,000 ounces. You just made 5,000 bucks, buddy. But be careful, because if it goes down $1, you just lost $5,000, and you might even get a margin call because your account just got wiped out. So you would still think, well, because that's what they say in the commodities trading, you can demand delivery. So I know I have 10% to play the game, but I want the silver, so here's the other 90%. So here's 100% of the money I would owe. Give me the 5,000 ounces of silver. And there's a problem. That silver never even existed. They just printed a piece of paper out, known as a futures contract, and said, there is 5,000 ounces of silver in a warehouse somewhere that we own. Trust us, it's there. And it's backed, your paper contract is backed by this 5,000 ounces. The problem is, at least 100 other, maybe even 200, they say, other contracts, same thing, same piece of paper, 1 to 200 other people have that same piece of paper, basically, different piece of paper with a different number on it, identification number, if you will, that says they too have 5,000 ounces of silver for this contract. And it's there, trust us. Because they know, out of those 200 people, maybe 1 or 2 of them will say, you know what, here's the rest of the money, demand delivery, I want the actual physical silver. Which also lets them know, since it's only a few people that ever demand delivery in an instance like this where there's 200 contracts chasing that same one underlying asset that's supposed to back all of them, they can just create almost infinite pieces of paper backed by that one same 5,000 ounces of real physical silver, because almost nobody ever demands delivery. That's how they play the game. So you talk about playing the game on margin. Oh, I get to play the futures contract for 10% of what it's worth, but it's as if I have all 100% of it. So if the price goes up $1, 5,000 bucks in my pocket. Oh, it's great. Well, guess what? That underlying asset that's supposed to be 1 for every contract, when in reality there's 1 for every 200 contracts. You know, one pool of 5,000 ounces for every, 1 or 200 contracts. They're kind of playing that margin game themselves in a sense, where they don't even have 10% of what they're supposed to have to back all those contracts. They've probably got maybe 1%. So where you think you're getting a sweet deal. I mean, I get to play this game for 10% of what it really would cost me if I had to go out and buy the physical asset. I don't want to buy 5,000 ounces of silver, have it delivered to me, sitting in a safe somewhere in my house, and then the price goes up $1 today. I've got to unload it immediately. What am I going to put it in my car and go to the local coin dealer? I don't have time for that. I can go online, buy it, and sit on the contract, and as soon as I see that dollar amount I want, it went up $1 today, boom, click a little button and sell. Matter of fact, I can already have the computer program, which all of them do this, the trading platforms, automatically sell when it goes up $1 from where it's at today, right now. I can actually tell it, sell for $1 higher. Or put in my stops, that way if the price goes down 10%, 10 cents where it's at right now, I can put an automatic sell order in. Man, this is, who the hell wants to mess with the real thing? The physical, so screw that. That's how it always starts. And then people realize the massive amount of fraud and corruption involved, and then they realize these underlying assets that are supposed to be there to back every one of these contracts never even existed. Never, ever existed. And then all of a sudden that commodity becomes a real hot item to have. Like, hey, I think we need to get some of this because the amount that we thought we had on paper, because of all these contracts that are out there, there's like 1% of it we've come to find out. So does it surprise you that 15, as far as in US dollar terms, $15 billion, it's a lot of money over in China. In order for these loans to go out and to take place, they had to basically, I guess, be backed by these gold transactions that never existed, according to the auditor for China. Falsified gold transactions, but the company made $900 million doing it. Not a bad thing when you can just make stuff up. Now, you and I, we can't just make stuff up and all of a sudden keep living and going to the grocery store and buying stuff and buying clothes for our kids and that kind of thing. Can't just make that up. Well, listen, Walmart, I've got a piece of paper here. I know it's not money, but I want to go ahead and buy all these clothes you see in front of me. I've got 10 outfits for my kids. And these outfits for my kids, they love them, by the way. Love these outfits. But I need to buy them on margin. So I'm only going to give you 10% today for these clothes on margin. So it makes you wonder, when you do go out to one of these commodities brokerages, these whatever, trading houses, clearing houses, you sign up, give me an account, I want to play this game, 10%. That means they're fronting you the rest of the money. So, like I mentioned a few times, I had a paper contract back in 2008. But I had a mini futures account, which is not the 5,000 ounces, it's the 1,000 ounces. Still, at today's dollar, let's say $20 silver, times 1,000, that's $20,000. But I'm playing on margin like everyone else, so I only had to have 10%. So 10% of $20,000 is $2,000. Plus they ask for a little maintenance fee. That way if the price goes down a little bit, you've got a little nest egg there that they can pull. If it goes down too much and your nest egg goes down too much, they're gonna give you a margin call. Sir, you've lost a little too much money. I need to replenish that nest egg. So that's about another grand. So let's just call it $3,000 to play with $20,000 worth of silver. So you have to think, wait a minute, is this brokerage house that I'm using, are they really going to give me, if I give them $3,000, they're giving me $20,000 on their system to play with? Why would any company give you $20,000 if you give them $3,000? That's like loaning you $20,000 if you give them a $3,000 down payment. And to be honest with you, I don't know, I don't remember even doing like a credit check. I can't remember, but I don't even know if I did any kind of credit check to get on there. I just don't remember. And even if you did, right? Even if they did do that, oh, you got good credit. Who wants to do that knowing stuff is on margin? So that if the price gets smacked down a nice little bit in one day, it's multiplied by 10, the pain effect, because again, you know, 10%. 10 times that value. So it makes me wonder, do these places, whoever are producing these futures contracts that you get to play with, do they even have the money that they're allegedly fronting you for the, you know, the margin, the difference? Or are they just simply, again, creating some piece of paper out of nothing, claiming, yeah, this is worth $20,000 of mini futures contract, and they didn't have to come up with any money at all? You know, again, when you see the level of fraud and corruption across the world, and namely in finance, it doesn't seem too far-fetched nowadays. They just make stuff up. They don't have to show you anything. You know, the SLV contracts, we don't have to show you any silver. We don't have to prove we bought any silver. Just trust us that we have silver, so that every share you buy of our company is equal to 1 ounce of silver, except you never see the ounce, you never get the ounce. You have to trust that we bought the ounce when you gave us that, you know, when you gave us that X amount of dollars for X amount of shares today, that we went out and bought that new amount of silver. Which again is interesting, because a lot of times when the reports come out, the amount of silver that SLV holds doesn't really change all that much. Sometimes it doesn't change. So that begs the question, are people not investing in, you know, from 1 month to the next month, or whatever the report comes out? So, you know, all that entire amount of time, no one bought a single SLV contract. You know, the tonnage of SLV silver stayed the same. Really? No one's buying and selling SLV, you know, shares? Come on. It doesn't make sense. But if you look around us, pretty much nothing makes sense. Everything's a lie. And that's just the way it is. I mean, you even turn on the TV nowadays to watch a TV show. Any TV show. Even the ones that say, oh, this is, you know, reality TV. Reality TV is not really reality, because the show, the producers, the editors, they are editing the show, and just coincidentally, when the show's coming up and they want you to know about what's going to happen next week, they show something like, oh my God, did that just happen? Oh, I can't wait till next week when the show comes on. And then the show comes on, and that one part comes up, you saw the commercial, oh, this is where such and such happens, oh man. And then it wasn't anything like that, because they edited it. Made you think one thing, got you all emotionally riled up, oh yeah, I can't wait this. And nothing like you thought was actually happening actually happened, because now you got to see the full show, because it's now next week, and it's a lie. Take, for example, the show Survivor. Survivor, man, someone must have got an accident there. There's crap all over the road. Oh, here he is. 2 accidents, actually. But you take Survivor, you know, and they're talking about voting somebody out, and someone pissed everybody off so bad at the camp, you know, that this guy's got to go. That's it. So that's what you've seen, and you're like, finally, this guy's been such a prick the whole time. Oh God, I'm so glad they're gonna get rid of him. Yes, he's such a prick. And then they go into, you know, what do they call it, tribal councils, vote him off. What? Oh my God, who saw that coming? They voted out the young girl. What? Holy cow, I didn't see that coming. Oh man. That's because they edited the show, and the whole part where they all got together before tribal council and said, you know what? Yeah, this guy's a prick, but he's not going to win against us in the end if they have to vote for us, because he's such a jerk. Let's keep him around, and let's get rid of this girl, because she's the little sweet girl who could possibly win. So let's vote her out tonight, guys. Yeah, you're probably right. All right, let's go ahead and do that. That's the part you didn't see. They didn't let you see that on purpose. They edited it out because they want to make you perceive the show's going a certain way, to keep you hooked, to keep you interested, and play with your emotions. Kind of like Facebook recently was playing with people's emotions. That came out. Department of Defense funded whatever the hell that was. They changed information on people's feeds or walls, whatever, on Facebook. Some of them saw one thing versus others saw something different. They wanted to see how the reactions were of the two, You know, two different types of groups of people who got the both bullshit, you know, feeds that they rigged to see what their emotions would do with that. You know, this group, how they respond in that group. This is Facebook. This is a social media website where you're supposed to just go on, talk to your friends, post things about maybe your life, what you're doing, because that's apparently what happens on Facebook nowadays. You know, I gotta go take a dump. Be right back. BRB, you know, for short. Be right back. Gotta go take a crap. Oh, thanks for letting us know that. I'm gonna go to the grocery store. See y'all later. Time to buy some groceries. I'm gonna make some spaghetti tonight. See you later. Oh, hey, appreciate you updating me on that. I really needed to know that. Thanks.